Hey, good morning, everyone. Sorry, I'm running a minute or two late here. Wasn't quite as organized as I thought. Okay, I think I am now. I think. Let me bring up something here that I need. So, how's everybody doing? Hope you're having a great Monday. Yeah, I hope you're having a terrific Monday. Good morning, Rick. How are you? Gator? Hey, Ed. Mike? Trader? Rose? It's the only ones I can see right there unless somebody types. Paula? Hey. Hey, again, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Ed, thank you so much for inviting me one more time. I keep waiting to get my walking papers, but he keeps inviting me back. Man, I don't know what's going on with that. All right, so the first thing I want to do this morning, for you scanner users, for those that have this scanner here, I've got something super cool to show you. Now, if you were in the Hit Run Candlesticks room this morning, I showed you then, but I want to show everybody here because you might not have been in the room. And this is, to me, one of the coolest things I can think of. That's kind of new. Let me, let's see here. Oh, well, here, I'm just going to bring this up. Okay, so say you have an alert. Say you have an alert here, and I'm going to come in here and look at my properties, and you can see that I've got the Qs, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and the CBOE highlighted. This is the main watch list I'm using. And I don't know why this one, I had this one and I must have cleared it out earlier. So we're gonna check it. And all you do to do multiple screens is do the control check mark. So far, this is not the cool thing, okay? Here's the cool thing. There are stocks that are not involved with the Qs, the S&P 500, the Russell 1000, NASDAQ, or the CBOE 400. There are stocks out there that just not in those groups. And if you have these check marked, you'll never see them. So what happens is, being in the trading room or just being with traders in general, somebody will throw out a chart that may really be nice, may be well worth it. I really want to watch that chart. I want it on my watch list, but it's not in one of these windows here. So what you can do is come over to a hot list. Now, this is the cool thing. I didn't know you could do this. And I have a hot list, and it's, back in August, that's my newest one. So I'll put it in my hot list, and if I want my hot list to show up, all I have to do is put a check mark, control, put a check mark in there, and now it could be your hot list, it could be an obscure list, it doesn't matter, but now it'll come up with these. So I can click save, and now I'm getting all the Q stocks that I want, all the S&P 500, all the NASDAQ, all the S&P 500, and that obscure stock that might not be in those, because I'm able to go grab that watch list. And I get excited over the simplest things. And this really is one of those simple things, and I never even knew you could do this till today. Never even knew it. And when I found this out today, I was like super, super stoked about it. So I wanted to share that with everybody right here. Okay, there we go. Now, now that that's over with, a couple things I want to share with you today, and I'll answer whatever questions I can answer, so please don't be afraid to toss them out. Is we're going to go look at a few trades that I'm in because of the scanner, and then trades we're considering and why, and then finding some new candidates with an alert called the Bull Gap Last 10 Candles. and that's a scan on the in the LTA system here. Just a minute, I need a drink. And yes, somebody just PM'd me. Yes, the recorder is running. Thank you, by the way. Thank you. So again, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to reach out and ask those questions. So the first thing let's do is, don't do that. There we go. Let's start with a few trades that I'm in the market. A couple of trades. BBB is one that I'm in. Let me get rid of all this right here. Oh, there we go. I bought BBB. I don't know what. There we go. I bought BBB Friday here, and I bought it because it came up on that gap scan that we're going to talk about, and it popped up here, and then it's consolidating. It looks like a great looking chart. This is a very typical chart that I'm going to look for, where we have a bottom, we rally up, and we pull back. There's that or a breakout are the type of charts I'm going to look for, and a breakout on this, it would be the same type of chart on that breakout. You still have the rally up and you have the pullback, so we might be buying the breakout right in here. So it's always in this area that I'm going to look at. One that I bought this morning was NUE. There we go. And it's doing the exact same thing. Here we have this rally to the upside, and it's pulled back. We popped up again. It's pulled back again, and it's given us that same type of chart pattern. Nice little pullback like that. There's your support down there, and there's your pull up, giving you your flag or a pennant. Different chart patterns in here, but it's that very typical chart pattern that I'm looking for here. So there's a couple charts that we're in. I'm also in Riot. Riot, that's holding up and working okay. PLTR, I added that today. And if you're a member of Hit Run Candlesticks, you are alerted of these on our members app. I have people send me charts from the trading room, or even on a text or email. There's people that send me charts, and I'll take a look at those charts. And if I like those charts, what I will do is put them on the scanner. I rarely buy something that does not come from the scanner. Now, somebody might post something that's really nice, and it's been coming up on the scanner, and sometimes I'll buy it because I see other people getting in it. I'm just like everyone else. You show me a good stock, I'm going to trade it. But bottom line, everything I do comes from the scanner. That's something I was asked this past week after last Monday's class, is how much I use the scanner, and I use it 110%. Absolutely use it. I wait for things to set up, like DT here, and DT is coming up on that. Actually, it's coming up on my PBO spike scan. PBO spike scan, and see how we've rallied up, and we're just moving sideways now. This is the kind of thing I'm looking for right here. So let's take a look at this scan here. I'm going to move this one back, and we're going to put this over here. And this is the scan that I would like to talk about today. Let's make sure it stays on top. And let's take a look at this VRPX. So you look, while you may not like this chart, somebody else might, okay? I'm not going to lie to you. This is not my cup of tea. Okay, this really is not. It's too choppy down here, not enough volume. All of a sudden here, the volume comes in, and it looks like there's some pretty good volume Where are we here? Where did the volume go? Yeah, it looks like there's some, pretty decent volume here. 853,000 shares Friday. Today so far, 668,000 shares. Like I say, while you may not like this, while I may not particularly like this, some people do. And it's coming up on that scan where you get that gap and a pullback. And let's face it, a stock that gaps usually has a little volume behind it. Now, I don't particularly know the bull gap. Other than what's written right here, I really don't know what's inside it. And honestly, I don't care, okay? I love hot dogs. I'd rather somebody not tell me what's in it. I've heard rumor what's in it, but I really could care less because I really like hot dogs. Sometimes we don't need to know what's in here. And I'm not saying anything in here is secret. I'm just saying that this is all I know. Is in this blue area, this gives a little definition of what this particular scan might be doing in here. And that's really all I know. So when I see a chart that's gapping up, that's great. But now what I'm looking for is the chart pattern. So I build in a couple other things that gives me the pullback. And I want to see where, let's get an arrow in here. Let's make this bigger. I shouldn't have made it smaller. I want to see where it's up. And I'm not interested in chasing this. What I'm interested in is the pullback. And then I'm going to start looking for some buying in there. Let's see. I need to change. Always scroll the bottom. There we go. Thanks. So I hope that makes a little sense. And we're going to go through here and look at some of these charts that pop up in here, okay? Chris there says BOP was good for a while. Yeah, if you're a BOP chaser, you can add BOP to your scans, and if that does it for you. I'm not a BOP user, to be honest, Chris. But I have nothing against it. But you can certainly add, BOP, balance of power in there is what he's talking about, folks, for those who don't know. You can add that. This is just volume bars. But you can add that balance of power. And if it meets your conditions, and by all means, maybe that's something you like. For instance, something I like in mine is I've added some volume because I've added some junk. When you get into some of these NASDAQ, you might add some junk. And there might be things in there. The Russell 1000, and it's what I call junk. It doesn't mean it's bad. It just doesn't meet some criteria for me. So I've added a little volume in here. That's one thing. That's no big deal. This right here has become one of my favorite alerts. And that is just below the highest high in the past 5 days. And then this right here, this just gives me a little bit of trend because I get a little testy from buying off the bottom, and I get a little testy. When people try to tell me this is the place to buy it off the bottom and things like that. I get a little testy because I always ask them, show me your money, and they never do. So I feel like they're trying to get to me here because buying off the bottom doesn't work. It sounds like it should, but it doesn't. So what this does is this says I just simply want the 8 exponential moving average above this 17. That guarantees you some kind of a trend. At least the trend where the 8 exponential moving average is over the 17 exponential moving average. There's got to be some kind of trend there. Maybe one you might not like, but overall, there's got to be some kind of a trend there. So I've added a few things with this. let's go back to BOP. You can add all sorts of things. If you want to, add MACD or stochastics or things like that, you can certainly do that. Yeah, you can certainly do that. But this is all I'm using right here. Let me cancel that. Let me answer a couple of questions right in here first off. Some hot dogs even. Squeal, yeah. Rocks. What are the blue tips on the volume? I'm going to have to go look here what I have it set at because truthfully I forget. Whoops, let's move this out of the way. Oh, if it spikes 2 times the volume, what it does is it turns it blue up there. And this is TC2000 I'm using, that's all. It just tells me, and you can adjust that 2% if you want. So, move this back here. Let's see, David, what does after the trend breakdown? I have no idea, David. We're talking about the bull gap today, and I don't know. Now, David, you have to understand, I don't use all the scans out there. I'm not even going to begin to. And I believe this is a new scan, and I haven't even tried it out yet. But if you want to hang around after I'm done, and I'll be done inside my hour or about my hour, Ed can explain that a little bit more, okay? All right. Mike, there you go. Ed's got you covered, Mike. There we are. All righty. So let's take a look at some of these trades and how we might trade them. Let's look at some of these, how we might trade them. So let's look at OPCH. So here's OPCH, and here we've got this big move up. We've got a gap within the last 10 days. So now to me, because we've put in a low and we're moving up today, then this low becomes the turning point. Anything below that, I absolutely would not like the trade, so that's where my stop would have to go at the absolute lowest. Let's take a look. If we were to buy it right now, you're looking at 6%, a little over 6%. Well, that might be too high for somebody, and if that's the case, and that would be too high for me to tell you the truth, what I would do is I would run to that 3-bar chart, and then I would come up here to the 3-bar chart, and it gives me a whole new view of this chart. And now that I look at it, I see this line right here. I just moved my stop up, 25, we'll call it 60 or 55, whichever you want to do it. I rarely use something like 58. I always round either up or down. So now let's go back to that daily chart, and there's my stop. And now my stop is, again, if I was to buy it today, we'll call it less than 3.5%. So this is how I would trade this setup. Now, I think something that, for those that don't know, something you have to understand, when a stock gaps up, that means something is going on. Now, if somebody was to ask me, why did it gap up? My first answer, in fact, my only answer is going to be because there's more buyers than sellers. Why it gaps up, I don't ever care about that kind of information. I'm a short-term swing trader, so what I'm looking for is for this to move up, and I'm going to take some money on it. Maybe somebody that wants to hold it longer term, they might get in there and they might think, hey, these people here, they've solved one of those mysterious problems of nature. I don't know. And great if that's what you want to do. But it's not what I want to do. I'm a short-term swing trader, so I'm looking at this for just a short-term move up. And when it gaps up, that's telling you that something is happening. And, some kind of a news event usually, or an earnings event, which I guess that could be a news event, or there's some big buyers out there buying it up. And the majority of the time, the buyers, which it had to have buyers to pop it up. So if buyers pop it up, that's not done usually. And the reason is buyers can't come in here and buy their entire lot. I mean, what would happen is if say Goldman Sachs was getting involved with this, and Goldman Sachs said, you know what, let's spend $50 million on this, buy $50 million worth of shares. Well, what would happen is that would spike it up too high. And then they would sit there and really just stare at themselves for quite a while, because smart money's not going to follow into that. It's just not going to do it. So they're gonna sit there and like, well, what's going on? You know, well, they're smart. They don't do that. So what they do is they leg into things. So this was a leg, just like this could have been a leg right here. So you get a leg, and then when it cruises around a little bit, maybe sets up or whatever whenever their time is, then they will leg into it again. And what I have found is just the type of chart patterns we look for, those consolidation areas. That's where buyers tend to come in, or breakout areas is where buyers tend to come in. So that's what I'm going to wait on, and that is the purpose of looking for stocks below their highest high in the past 5 days, or the 3/8 trap might be an example. But before that, what we want is something that ignites it. We want some sort of ignition, and a gap can be that ignition. This is starting to pop here. Let's look at NTAP. So here's NTAP, and see where it gapped up in the past 10 days. Now we can start looking at trading NTAP. Does that make sense? Any questions on this? Anything? And yeah, any questions? I want to make sure that I answer them. Otherwise, we're going to cut it short today. We'll cut it short. Let's go look at that DSKE. That one right here. That might be a trade for somebody. Malcolm. Like a matchstick on the, blue tip, little matchstick. It'll light it up. Heavy volume. Let's see here. This is a list of stocks that we are that I'm following, that I have on my watch list, and they all came because of the scanner, and I can't be in everything, so I've bought enough for this morning, and I'll wait now till the afternoon to see how the market holds up, and then we'll see what's out there. And there may be one of these here that I take a look at, and it might be some new ones. I'm really liking this PDD. You can see how that's been in a downtrend, and it's gapped up. And this came from the scanner. Here it's gapped up, and now we're pulling back here. Now I'm just waiting for some buyers. I just want to, I want to see those buyers right in here. I don't feel that you have to buy dirt cheap or in the mud to make money. I don't. When I go buy a car, I don't want to buy a car that I have to use a tow truck to get it out. I want the parked car running, so I want to make sure this stock is working before I start to buy it. Just the way I kind of look at it there. Does anyone have any questions on this scan right here? Any questions at all? Okay. The next question is, why is everybody here? Why is anyone here? Hello, Michael. Excuse the general question. Oh, not at all. Not at all. On volume, do you have candle volume on your daily charts that you prefer to stay above? No, no. Well, maybe let's just make that go away because I really could care less what that looks like down here. I really could care less what that looks like. When I'm trading a chart, I do like minimum volume in the overall chart, but I really don't care what the current candle is. So if that's what you mean, yes, I do watch volume. And I only trade stocks that have good volume in them. Good volume to me is, I don't know, trading over 500,000 shares maybe in a 50-day period average, something like that. I used to trade much smaller, but now I trade a little bit different. There's nothing wrong with trading stocks that say 250,000 shares over a 90-day period average. That's what I used to do 100%. But now I do things a little bit higher up. Yeah. Let's see. One thing I want to do here. There you go. Solve that one. Okay. Hey, there's a link. Oh, thanks, Malcolm. I almost forgot about that. Here's a link here for a 14-day trial with LTA. Here's something new. If you are on a trial, get a hold of me. Go to the well, you can do it with LTA if you want. Go to the Live Trading Alerts website. Go to the Contact Us, and set up a time. Which you go there and you just share that you're interested in a time, and I've offered some time where I will come work with you in a room and help you set up your scans. So if you are on a trial, please do that, and that's just to help people get going with it. So thanks, Malcolm. Appreciate that. Judy, that's just showing I have mine set at 2 times the volume is what it is. Yeah. Tim is asking, what is the accuracy of the scan, percent of trades that follow through? Tim, you're asking a seriously wrong question. That would be like, here, let's do this. I'm going to look for a chart. Let me find something. Boom, 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 boom. We'll do this TCOM, okay? That is like asking what's the percentage of a stock with a hammer following through. So it's not the question is not what's the accuracy or the percentage of the scanner, because all the scanner does is it gives us chart patterns. So the question should be, what is the accuracy of this chart pattern making money? That's what the question should be, not the scanner. The scanner is just mechanical. The scanner is something that, let's do this here. All the scanner is a funnel. And in this funnel, you put in all these stocks. And then you have these different little alerts or setups in the scanner. And you can have as many as you want. And what it does is it takes this basket of stocks, which could be 1,000 stocks, and it has to meet this condition, this condition, this condition. And then what happens is at the bottom, it spits out, a couple, 10, 20. You can see what these have popped up with. Charts that meet that criteria. Then as a trader, we decide which ones we want to trade. Does that make sense? So let's take a look at snow. So like I said, your question, it's very unfair to ask about the scanner, just like it's unfair to ask about the hammer. Now you're going to trade the chart. So what is the probability of this chart moving up? And now there is a $64,000 question for you. It's not a fortune teller, exactly. So let's say we were going to trade some snow, and let's say I'm willing to bet on some snow, and let's put the reasons in place. Okay. We have a trend. We have a rally up that created a breakout. We have a pullback that has created a hammer. So I'm looking at this chart thinking, I like that. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to put my stop right here. I think I might buy that. And now we're going to see what happens. And that right there is trading. That is trading in a nutshell. Is you put your conditions together as much as you can, and then you make a trade. And that's what the scanner does. It puts those conditions for you so you don't have to go find or spend hours looking for them. Does that make sense? Let me go see where I left off here. David. So David here, I just saw, let me go back to David here. David. I'm here because I have a problem chasing stocks than not setting smart stops. David, do you use the scanner by any chance? I just want to know. And you're welcome, Tim. Thank you. David, do you use a scanner? Yes, no? And you know what? It doesn't matter whether you use a scanner or not. If you want to come over to the Hit and Run Candlesticks trading room, we will talk about stops this afternoon if you ask, okay? We will focus on that for you. Let's see here. Okay. If I missed your question, please type it in again, okay? Please do that. So let's take a look at some of these that popped up. E-bond. Does anybody like that chart? And you know, and here's what I'm looking at. Here we have a gap up, and I'm going to put a line right there. And what that does is that just helps me see the bottom. It helps me see the gap. Now I can see the chart pattern in here. And for the chart pattern now, I'm going to move this up because that'll help me with the stop. So I'm going to put my stop right in here. I see where it's topping out right here. So now, because of the scanner, it brought me to a stock that I might want to trade right now. And let's see how many choices we have. We could actually buy it right now. And move that out of the way real quick. I could buy it right now. I'm going to be looking about 4.6% for the stop. Or I can wait till it breaks out, and we'll put the buy box right here, like this. We can wait till it breaks out, and then I'll buy it in this area. So that's my choices. Buy it now. Well, there's a third choice. I guess there's a third choice. Somebody might say, well, I want it to pull back inside this area. So that's possible. So we're gonna go with a buy now, a buy on a pullback, or a buy in here. Here's your choice, and that either one of those three trades I think are acceptable to traders, any one of them. Let's take a look at this DYAI. Look at that. Now I can tell you right now, this is not one of my cups of tea here. This is not one of my cups of tea. Bob will come right back to that, okay? For one, the chart just looks funky. I don't know how to say it. It looks funky. I don't like the way the candles look. It's not my cup of tea. You know, what are we trading here? 300, little light volume for me. And then there's a 2 million shares, and then well, I don't know. Yeah, there's 136,000. Not my cup of tea. But it's doing just what we want. It's giving us this gap up, and we're consolidating. So if you don't like these, then you eliminate the garbage. And by me putting in, which you're not going to get too much garbage from the Qs, you're not going to get too much from the S&P. However, you will get a bucket of load from the garbage from the Russell 1000. You might get some from the NASDAQ as well. And you're not going to get any from the CBOE 400. I may have a couple of stocks in my list because I'm working with some people. And they are liking some of those stocks. So you can eliminate that. Let's see. Bob is saying on eBand, where's the trend? All right, let's take a look. Let's get rid of all this. And let's do this. Let's do this. There's the trend right there. Okay, there's my trend. I also see where we have a double bottom. So if I'm going to look at conditions in this chart, I'm going to see that bottom. I'm going to see that trend. I'm going to see something here that, to me, I'm going to call this an island reversal. To some folks, it is not, and we're not going to debate that. I see the rally up. I see the consolidation. Also, something I look for in a trend is the Trendicator green and the T-line above the Trendicator. That is a trend for me. That is a trend. Now, while that may not be a trend for you, Bob, and that's, we all have our, the way we trade, our little quirks. And it doesn't mean that mine's any better than yours or yours is any better than mine. Doesn't mean that at all. It just means we have different things that we look for. Take a look at JD. It's coming up on that scanner. Gap up, pull back. Buyers are coming in now. We have a nice double. Let's get rid of that. We have a nice double bottom. The T-line's above the Trendicator. I like that. I love the fact we're above the 50-period moving average. Now, some traders here might say, well, I'm not happy about this until it breaks out over these highs. Well, you don't have to trade it. You can trade it above that if you want to. And then you've got other traders that are going to say, well, I don't want to trade it because it's a Chinese stock. Well, then don't. You don't have to. Pretty simple. Okay. Am I catching everything? Any questions? Anything at all? That snow sure looking good here. That snow sure is looking good. Any questions? And remember, if you use the set up a trial here, make sure you get with Ed, and you can send the contact us through the live trading alerts. You can also send it through Hit and Run Candlesticks, and we'll set up a time that we can get together, and I can help you load some of these scans. Let's see, Rick, if you have a good setup, but trigger candle is like 70% of volume, are you still trading it? Yeah. Look, here's the thing. Notice you don't even see volume bars down here. I don't trade volume. I trade the candlesticks. I trade the fact that there's more buyers than sellers or more sellers than buyers. That's all I trade. So I look at this chart, and I can clearly see by this chart that there are more buyers than sellers, right? And here down, I can see that there's more sellers than buyers, right? More sellers than buyers. And now I can see that it seems like the buyers might be stepping back in because they've stopped the selling right here. And now we have a hammer. I like hammers. This suggests that we're going to move higher. The chart pattern to me is a bullish chart pattern. So now I might be willing to take that trade. And volume plays no part in it for me. Now, the gap up was created by volume, but I don't care. I'm following that chart. So I trade the candlesticks and you know, like I said, more buyers versus sellers, or in a short maybe more sellers than buyers, something like that. Take Apple. I bought Apple this morning. Why did I buy Apple? Because there was more buyers than sellers, not because of any kind of volume, but we know that Apple's got good volume, right? BTBT. Because of the scanner, it got me into BTBT Friday. And why? Because there were more buyers than there were sellers. And it started coming up on one of my scans that I use. Does that help? Make sense? Now, I know there's a lot of people that do use volume. I'm not trying to poo-poo volume at all. You know, you could use a you could flip a coin if you want. You could roll dice if that's your thing. You know, if it works for you, that's what you use. If it makes sense to you, that's what you use. You know, I'm not trying to say no one should never use volume. You should, if it makes sense and if it helps you. It's like stochastics. Stochastics makes sense to me. It absolutely does. But I find it useless in my trading, so I don't use it. Yeah, JB, more buyers than sellers because the price is going up. How do you know it will continue to go that way? Well, JB, that's easy. That's what the candlesticks tell us to do. That's easy. JB, if I may be so bold, you might be one of those people that you just want this thing to keep going up. You want to find a stock that just goes up forever. Well, we all want that. But now let's catch some reality. Let's catch some reality. And the reality is that's not going to happen. And the reality is it's not our job to say pick the bottom or pick the absolute top. That's not our job. Our job is to take out the goodness in the middle, like this. Now, I'm looking at this chart. Now, obviously, I've missed this, but I also think this can still go up to here, the 200 period moving average. Now, that doesn't mean it can't consolidate before it gets there. And that does not mean that it can't pop up and then consolidate a little bit before it goes higher. So my trade will be like this. If I was to choose to trade this, that's my trade. That's my playground right there. So if I buy this here, where it is now, I'm going to put this line right here, and let's do it this way. If I was to buy it right there, my stop's going to be 7.2%, which that's not going to happen in 100 years. So let's do this. Let's go to the 3-bar chart because I use that an awful lot. And now that I look at this chart, I'm going to move this stop up to right there. Yeah. No. I'm going to move that over. There we go. I'm going to go right there. And I'm using these two candles, those two doji candles right there. That's what I'm using. And now, if I was to buy this right now, I'm looking at a 4% stop. And I can afford that. That makes sense to me. So now let's go back to the daily chart here. And while this is my playground, if this thing was to move up to say right there, and I was to buy it right here, Would I be happy with 15%? Damn straight I would. So it's not my job to take this all the way to the top. Not my job at all. It's my job to manage my trade using the price action, candlesticks, and the chart pattern. So once the scanner helps me find a chart, then I decide if I want the chart, and from there I manage the chart. Does that make a little sense there, JB? And another thing too, with candlesticks, it's very simple. You know, I hear this one a lot. I hear this a lot. Let's look at the SPY. I hear this a lot. People, man, we're so high, the SPY is going to crash out. And then you get people that start mouthing off political crap, and for that reason, it's going to fall apart. Then you get people that say, man, look at all the money the government's spending, and it's going to have to pull back. It can't keep going up. Look, I don't disagree with any bit of that, but don't shoot yourself in the foot and miss out on trades when you don't need to. So I see people getting long or not getting long because they're afraid of the market. What the hell are you afraid of? We have the ability to put stops on. You know, everyone's afraid that you're going to lose that money right there. The market will tell you when it's having a problem. Everyone, well, I don't want to lose that money. Are we forgetting that you made money here, 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 here? You're really going to bitch over that money? The point is, watch the candlesticks. Watch the market. It's a fact you're going to take losses. It is an absolute fact you are. But if you're making money here and here and here and here, and you're invested, and at the end of the day today, maybe this candle right here today just starts moving down, wouldn't that tell you a big story? It would tell me to head to cash and buy some shorts. That's exactly what it would do. And yep, I just might take a loss on that BB or that BTBT or the CAN or the Nokia that I'm in or the NEO or the PLTR or the Riot that I'm in. I just might. But I made money here. So if my losses were to be even one full box here, I made money. That makes sense? I hope. I don't know. I could talk about this all day long. Let me see here. All right, Phil's talking to somebody here. Let's see here. Michael, I'm exploring both intraday and daily. I find the volume helps push the intraday, but not always. Sometimes it's large volume of sellers all getting out. The scanner is helping me find the intraday trades. Great. And like I said, you know, some people love volume. I can piss people off that use volume. I can really talk smack on volume, and I know it ticks them off. I don't mean to do that today. Believe me, I'm not. I just say you just don't need volume to trade. But, well, you know, everyone's different. Matt, out of your half of your Apple, way to go. Congratulations. Super trade. Let's see, Rocky, will you explain puts, buy, sell to short when going down? Basically a put trade. Is that what you're saying here? Let's see. Let's take a look at CERN. You know, how did I know to go to this? I gotta love the scanner, right? So say I was going to buy a put on this. Let me bring this over here like that. Then I would come in here and type CERN. And I'm always going to go 50 plus days, give or take a little bit, you know, things like that. So 46 is acceptable. So I'm going to come over here, and then I'm going to go over to the put side, and I'm going to look for open interest. And there's no open interest. So this won't do. So let's go over here to December. I'm going to look for open interest. That's close. Yeah, that'll work. You know, that'll work for me. The problem is the delta is not quite what I want. I would prefer 70, but you know what? I'm not going to shoot it. I might, if I really wanted this trade, I might take that trade right there. And then I'll just click here. It shows up on the ticket, and I'm going to bring the ticket down for you. There you go. And I would just buy to open because I'm buying a put is what I'm going to do. So I would just buy right there. Make sense? Move that back. Make sense? Try it. You know, if you're trying to learn how to do it, don't spend any money. Just simply try to do it. You know, practice the mechanics of it, things like that. Just practice the mechanics. Sorry, I had to. There we go. Let's take a look at PDD. Whoop, that's not it. PDD. Look at that trade right there. PDD. Anybody like that trade? How come? Oh, I messed around and I think I deleted my trade hawk. I did. Just a second, because I might buy this. Sorry about that. I show and tell there. I clicked the wrong button and deleted it. Now I've got to get logged in again. Again, sorry about this. It's not it. Forget my password. Can't believe all the hoops you got to go through to get into your account. There we go. So anyway, this is coming up on the scanner. And it's one that I've been kind of stalking. In my mind, I have it as a stalking one. SCO is another one that I'm stalking a little bit. So let's see here. I'm going to look at that. There we go. So that, what was it, PDD? I'm going to see if there's a trade on it. I don't even know if there is. So let's see here. I've got the October moved up. Let's look at November. Try January. October might be the best. So October, the 85 strike. It's a 74 delta, just under 2,000 shares on the open interest right there. So that's a possibility. The spread is only 1.9%. So that is certainly in my world. So I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to buy this PDD. And this is exactly how I'm going to use the scanner. And in this particular case, well, let me get this done. Otherwise, oh, there we go. Okay, it just filled. So, you know, this is a bull gap in the last 10 days. So it comes up on the scanner. I go look at it. Hey, I like that. I like the fact we've got a nice bottom here. I think that is a well done bottom. We've got a gap up. What does a gap up tell us? It tells us that there's interest. I mean, that's a healthy looking gap too. I don't need to see volume. I'll bring the volume up in a second. I don't need to see that though. I can just see that it's good. You know, is it going to make a difference if it's 1.5 times or 2 times the volume? It's not going to make any difference. Still going to like the chart. And inside this scan, I've got it adjusted so it shows me the lowest, it has to be below the highest high in the past 5 days. I see a hammer on the T-line and the Trendicator, which that is going to be my stop area. So let's go in here and let's create that stop. Less than 5%, I'm good right there. So I'm going to paint this red. Boom. Here's my stop. I'm all done. Now, there's no question in my mind. There's people wondering, there always is, are you afraid of the 50? No, I'm not. Could the 50 cause a little bit of a road bump, speed bump? Sure. It absolutely could. It absolutely could. Thousands of stocks break through the 50-period moving average every year. Why can't this one? And, I'm only going to be worried about that 50-period moving average if we see a major sell signal. Right now the best I can come up with maybe is a bearish engulf, maybe a shooting star, maybe a dark cloud cover. And they're not there right now. And I'm not in the business of predicting that this is going to happen. I'm in the business of trading a chart that's in front of me. So again, I see a chart that has made a pretty decent bottom. And let's move this down. Oh, nice big old double bottom. And we've rallied up here. We've broken out of this top right there. We've gapped up. We're just testing now. I'm good with that. So yeah. Anyway, that's exactly how I would make that trade. Currently up, nothing to write home about, 1.10%, and it could easily slide down. I'm not, I don't even want to begin to say that, hey, this is just going to go up. It might bounce around a little bit. All stocks, I want to emphasize all in capital letters, all stocks. They're all dependent on what the market does. If the market turns trashy, the best stock in the world is going to turn trashy. So as long as the market works, I have all the faith in the world that this is going to work until it doesn't, and I will take appropriate action. I can see my BTBT is making a new day high from yesterday, and I think I added to this today, didn't I? Didn't I? Bought Apple, PLTR. Huh. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I was. Oh, no, I did. Yeah. And I sent it out to the members that I added to my BTB trade. Added to BTB trade. There we go. Right there. I did point that out. So, all right. Last questions, and then I'm going to call it a day here. Chris is asking, is that hammer part of the scan? No, it is not. However, you could make that part of the scan. You could write the scan or add to it. All the stuff is there to do it. A gap up, say in the recent 10 days, which that's this gap, this alert, and then you could put in below the highest high in the past 5 days or 10 days maybe. And then you could say you want to see a hammer or a bullish engulf or a piercing candle. You could do that. Yeah, you could absolutely set the scanner up that way. And that's kind of a good idea. I might play with that. Thank you. The only problem that I have with that is you want to be careful and not tighten this thing up too much. Remember, it's a funnel, okay? It's a funnel. And what you really don't want to do is make that funnel so tight here that you get one that trickles. maybe you get another one that trickles. You don't want to do that, because if it's too tight, you're going to miss out on a lot of nice scans, not a nice charts. But I will tell you, you made me think of something, so I might try to put some candlestick signals in there. Absolutely might. Yeah. JB, it looks for charts that have gapped up within the last 10 days and pulled back. Mine, I have mine set up so that I'm going to get rid of all that right there. I've got mine set up so that it looks for a gap. And then it looks for charts that's below the highest high in the past 5 days. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're definitely in that category. And then I want the T line to be above the 17. So what that is kind of doing is building a type of trap or a type of wedge. This is what it looks like right there. So, yeah. And they're not always down here. They could be up here as well. Let's go look at BTCM. Yes, it's not up here, but it's not way down here either. And you can see that it's got that gap. We're below the highest high in 5 days. And there's that wedge right in here. You can certainly horizontal line right there. All right, just a couple more questions here. I like BTB chart, but didn't like the options. Different strokes for different folks, Val. That is, you've heard me say that 100 times. When it gets to the hard right edge and you actually push the button, trading becomes extremely personal. Extremely personal. Not secretive, just personal. We look for those little things, the options, things like that. I'm very willing to take a stock with a larger spread than a lot of people. But if I can see this stock going up, well, this is my dream right here. But if I can see this stock moving up 26%, I'll take an 8% spread. Why not? But that's just me. So. Alrighty, so okay, so I'm going to run off here. Thank you everybody for showing up. For those that maybe take that trial today, or you're in a trial right now, if you would like a little help getting started, set up some time. Just go to the live trading alerts, contact us. You can go to the Hit Run Candlesticks, contact us. Set up some time, and we'll put together something, and I'll come in here and help you. You can use exactly what I'm using. I'll help you set it up. And I want to say this before I leave. I am down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 counting my hot list. That's it. That's all the windows I use now. And I feel so free. It's crazy. I feel very light, not nearly as stressed looking at my windows, and I'm finding it much easier to concentrate. So, all right, everyone, take care. Ed, thank you very much for having me here. Malcolm, thanks for throwing that link out there. Remember to get signed up, and we'll get something going. And we can get something going this week. If you want to do that, contact us. So, you guys take care. We'll see you all this afternoon, or later this week, or in the trading room, or wherever, okay? Have a great weekend, everyone, if I don't see you till next Monday. Thank you.